felt this way before. It must be you and I. It's got me thinking about us more. It's these bright lights that put me in a daze, and I can't stop but think about the way that you move around up and down on that stage. It's your future vibes. Bright lights, they put me in a daze, and I can't stop but think about the way that you move around up and down on that stage. It's your future vibes. Bright lights, they put me in a daze, and I can't stop but think about the way that you move around up and down on that stage. It's your future vibes.
Welcome everyone, round number 8 of the season. We are in the UK, Silverstone, at Britain, F1's home race. I am joined by Milo Gaming YT. Milo Gaming, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Good evening to you. Good evening to the stream. Yeah, a few technical problems, which means I've had to invite some people back, but we should be fine now. Already been a bit of a record-breaking weekend, hasn't it? And records on the line here today in Tier 1.
Yes, so just want to go over a few things that some people might see already. Who's this guy who just joined? Who? Okay. Hopefully someone tells him to leave, because Graham and Ricochet are Ricochet's in the session, but he's just not in quali. Boker and Graham need to get in here, because that guy needs to leave. Because one of the two randos might not be able to join back. And yeah. But regardless, Kagoda making his first Tier 1 start of the season. Oh, almost colliding with Tax as well. Beatnik making his first Tier 1 start ever. You also have Typhoon returning for the first time in a full-time ride since Singapore. Who else do you have on this list? JRT Norris, he's making his first start on the league as a reserve. So all of that going on today. I gotta figure out Reese guy to leave, because if he doesn't leave, he's gonna be stuck in the session. Whoever's friends with that Reese guy needs to get him to leave, because Boker Graham won't be able to join back. And that's the problem of not having everyone in on time, which pisses me off. But no, regardless of that, Tier 3 and Tier 2 yesterday. Hopefully you try to get the deal with them with
yeah, I'm trying.
that Reese guy and stuff. Whoever's friends with him needs to make him leave. But regardless, Tier 3 and Tier 2 yesterday. How'd you look at all that? Typhoon might need another invite as well, I think.
Okay. Christ.
No, but seriously, though, Tier 3, and Tier 2, Tier 3 had a dry, ending, but a wet race, wet to dry, and, same thing with wet, light, well, heavy rain, light rain, and dry. That's what all happened, and, tier 2 and tier 3. We saw great racing yesterday and on Friday, but the thing is, with all that being said, this is a complete dry race. This is a clear race. I trolled people earlier saying it was going to rain, but it really wasn't. But the thing is, with all that being said, a lot has kind of went on, I guess, with the wet weather. What's the controversy about, you know, stuff going on? Yeah, all the stuff going on with the weather. Oh, yeah, what's this? What's that? You know, just stuff like that. Yeah, I trying to figure out who invited that Reese guy, because it won't be able to get Boker and Graham in here if it isn't for that. And now only 11 people have qualified, which really sucks. But won't let Boker take control. John goes faster, but yeah, who? I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to question at this point. Boker can't take control is the current situation.
But regardless, tier 3, tier 2, Kagoda took the win in tier 2, racing in this race, and tier 3 it was who can I think of? Patriot who took the win. That was their first podium for Racing Point this season, which is good for them. But I'm gonna go over right now the points as well. Here's what the point standings look like, everyone. So just to update everyone about the way this looks, about everything going on. Here is what the point standings look like. So, Mr. Boker has a 54-point lead heading into this race. Polo God goes second. Oh my God, that's great. It's considering he took pole last season. But Boker has the points lead by 54 points. Rizone almost 100 points behind, way more than 75 for sure. So the top 3 are all really within 3-4 races, and Boker can win the championship as early as Italy. Renault lead the constructors as well, somehow, still after a great race in Austria by them. Torosso still in the mix as well, but just trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, we're gonna have to try to figure out what we're gonna do, because Boker can't take control, and Graham can get back on the track. He did take control. Okay. Now, is everyone in the lobby who's supposed to be? Is Reese left? What's going on? Because
no idea if he's left.
Boker is able to get back on the track. Okay. But anyways, I want to go over the point standings and some of these fun facts that we want to put out. So hopefully everything's back to normal, everything's back to good with the way this goes, because we want to get everyone racing, we want to get everyone on the racetrack. So Mr. Boker in the last 4 races, he's been the guy who dominated the first 3 races, won in Singapore by 24 seconds, had the win in the first 4 races that he done, and then someone broke that streak, named John in Australia. But Mr. Boker has only led 8 laps in the last 4 races, Milo. 8 laps! Out of really like 100 or so laps done. How does that sink into your head, Milo? Because, thinking about this, Boker, you know, yeah, he's extending the championship lead, he's getting the results he needs, the podiums, but he's not led the race laps, he's not led the laps. He's only led 1 lap in Hungary and 7 laps in, Austria.
Yeah, that's mainly due to Rizone being on top in Hungary. So yeah, Rizone has found some form in his race pace, which is great to see. And of course, saw in Hungary, he had the race-long fight with DW and Rizone as well, who took some more redemption. So that's partially the reason. And just looking at the other stats you've got, pole margin, that's really important to look out for. We could see some slipstreaming today through the Wellington and Hangar Straits in Sector 1 and 3. So, got to watch out for that.
Something I also want to mention that's interesting stat that Sam Steed, the Ferrari driver, brought up here. Something I didn't really look at too much. Typhoon, is he in? I gotta make sure he's in. Is he in? I know some of his friends in chat are watching. If Typhoon is in, let me know. Or not in. But let me know about that. But regardless, Mr. Boker can win the championship as early as Italy. If everything goes right, if everything stays the way it is, and he extends that gap, with Rapalucas Rizone taking no points, he wins the championship right after Italy, which is 3 races to go before Mexico, USA, and Brazil, which is crazy to think about with all this being said. And the Tier 2 and Tier 1 commentators, me, Polo, and you, Milo, have all took a pole or win at this racetrack. So, I guess this racetrack might be some good luck for the commentators. John's commentated this season, so is Sam Steed. Can they maybe take some polls? Rapalucas has commentated as well before the season, so Rapalucas was denied a pole by the closest, well, the third closest margin at this racetrack, and yesterday was the closest margin ever at ARL, as Graham goes out. Regardless, though, Atlantis and Boker could take 2 records today. Atlantis could take 15 consecutive points finishes in a row, and Mr. Boker could take the most consecutive podiums at 9. How does that all sink in, Milo?
Yeah. Boca obviously having the tricky start. He's in the final sector now, so this is one of his only laps. I think he's only going to get 1 in here and goes fourth, so he will have to fight Jack for it. We saw, if you do watch LGRL, he went for a last gas move to try and get on the podium. Didn't quite work out for him, so he's got to be a little bit more tactical today. It's a longer race and plenty more opportunities, so I don't doubt him too much. But for Atlantis, it's great to see him racing. He's had some ear problems all week. He was in doubt to race this one, but it's great to see him here, and I'm cheering him on because he could have got a seriously good result last week. Been Mr. Consistent, and I believe in him.
Yeah, you know, and Rizone in this championship, yeah, you might not say it's over for him, but he's not over for second at least. I'll say that right now. He's definitely not over for second. He can gain a lot on everyone else. Now there's a Ferrari of Sam Steed coming to the line on his outlap. Everyone is coming on their outlap. Obviously there's a time delay, so Mr. Boker, if he saves just enough ERS, he might be able to get another lap in. He just might. If he saves enough ERS. Now checker flag's complete for Typhoon, who's not in the session, so get him back in here if you can. Milo Gaming, GSR Typhoon. But yeah, here we come to the checkered flag. Some cars coming to the checkered flag right now. Also, some cars on outlaps as well. The Racing Point, Jack coming to his lap now. The Red Bull as well. It is John coming to the line, starting his lap. The McLaren comes to the line as well. The Torosso as well. And Rizone goes second, 13 1,000ths. And he loses out on pole this time. It's John currently on pole. The other Torosso, Atlantis, coming to his lap. Rumbling Fungus behind him. Does Rumbling Fungus to get to the flag? He does. B-Nick does he as well. The Williams behind. That is Rapalucas into Sector 3. A 10th up. We saw a very close pole position in the past few weeks back in Spain and at this racetrack. Now, coming to the final corner for Rapalucas. Can he take his first pole position off the final corner? It goes fourth for him. And the Haas behind. That is Kagoda going 9th, Tier 2 winner from this previous week. Now, B-Nick in 15th is going to go to 11th. A good start by him. ABS Jarv heading to the final sector, 4/10 up. Can he try to get above Atlantis? Behind
John
that
has supported his lap.
Behind that is his Mercedes teammate of Tax. Tax coming to the line, or Jarv coming to the line. Goes 15th still. Tax, where does he go to the line? He's not going to improve, and he stays 10th. The Racing Point coming to the line. It is Jack. Proves a little bit, but not enough. John coming to the line as well. Doesn't improve. The McLaren also comes to the line. Danny Skedit. Checkered flag. Polo's aborted.
A lot of people have aborted.
Rizone's aborted.
It's
John. Wow. Third time, I think. Second or third time he's been on pole. But yeah, I did get confirmation from Burning Man. Yeah, Atlantis had the ear problems earlier in the week, and then he said it progressively got better throughout this week. So, I mean, it's definitely raceable for him. But just like last season, we had a lot of guys within a second. It may not be close for really that top 3 as much as back there, but really close. And go over the lineup, I guess, Milo. Top 10.
Yeah, so it's John on pole. A really close qualifying to get just over 100ths of a second to Rizone, who has really strong race pace around here. Polo got on pole last season, starts third, just ahead of last season's champion Rapalucas. Jack took a podium in LGRL, starts 5th on the grid with Mr. Poker, championship leader in 6th, looking for the consecutive podium record.
Sam, Rumbly Fungus, Kagoda, Tier 2 winner, tax round out the top 10. So what will all happen with what will happen is Typhoon in this session is that Reese guy is he in here. Typhoon is not okay.
I thought I did invite him a couple of times.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Not too sure. His car is definitely not in here, but it would be a DNS. Ricochet is in here though, who was yeah, who did not do qualifying. Early prediction by Thrasher, Boker DNFs. Yeah, enjoy a race. But yeah, CFRL, was it Milo that Boker DNF'd on the first turn, first lap, or had a collision with someone on another league earlier this week?
I have no idea.
I mean,
CTRL,
no,
that's it. CCRL, yeah.
Alright, there you go, yeah. Anyways, what do you want to do? Do you want to go through the favorites first, the 3 favorites? Do you want to, or do you want me to? I don't remember who did it last week.
I think you did it first last week, and I let you do it in tier 3, so I suppose I'll start. Championship leader, Mr. Boker, down in 6th place. Remember, he's looking for that consecutive podium record. He's got Jack, Rappalucas, and Polo God at the moment to pass, which will be a tough little test. Rappalucas does not give in, especially. We got Sam down in 7th, some good recovery drives from him lately, and it'll be rude, not to include the Australian Grand Prix race winner and can handle a lot of pressure, John. And he's got to do it again today. And Graham is
gets back
again. Yeah.
Alright, well, while you go through that, I'm going to go through my guys. F1 driver starts at the very back. 19th to the win, to a podium, to a top 5. We saw yesterday, Beatnik gone from 19th to 4th in Tier 2. The thing is with F1 driver, he's a very fast driver, and he has shown before that he can recover from these type of drives and from the quali ban. Now, with this all being said for F1 driver, how does he handle the pressure and the guys at the back? I want to go with Rizone. Up there, P2 starting. How can I not include this guy? He's very fast at this racetrack, and the thing is with him, he's won here before, I'm pretty sure. He won here in LDRL after a bad start. He's shown he's got the pace. John's contending with him though. That's going to be his big pressure, and that's going to be his big rival. But I also want to go with Polo got here. Took pole position last season, ran in the top 3, ran in the top 5 most of the race. He was contending up there until a late race crash in turn 4, or not turn 4, in P4, into sector 2. So here is this Polo's chance to take podium. I mean, he's got rivals who are very faster than him. Rappalucas, Jack Boker, all behind him. And I want to go with a Tier 2 driver just for an underdog and kind of a guy who's maybe overlooked at. Last season he raced this race, had really not much pace, but Kagoda starts 9th today. And close to the guy, the teammate he's serving for. So he's ahead of Tax, he's ahead of Danny Skedit, Graham, and Atlantis. Just kind of curious. Does Kagoda move up to Tier 1 next season, possibly, if he wins a championship? Does this race give him some help with Tier 2 championship? We'll have to find out. 5 red lights upon us here in Britain. Here we go for the start of the Grand Prix, the home of Formula 1. And Graham has left the session again. Now we rev it up, and we're about to go. Graham's car's going, but we are green, and we are away here in Silverstone. Rizone is side by side with John into turn 1. Side by side, gets ahead, Polo and Jack contend. Rappalucas gets by Boker, side by side. Now into turn 3, keeping the carnage away, but there goes a Mercedes. That's ABS Jarve around. JRT Norris involved as well.
Ricochet with damage.
Pagoda gets ahead of Rumbly Fungus, as you said, Ricochet with damage, and Mr. Boker trying to gain a Polo. On the inside of Polo, gets through. Polo, 3rd to 6th, and now losing more positions as Rizone gaining and trying to pass on John. Graham's car is taking the lead. Hopefully he gets an invite back, but the thing is, Graham, he wouldn't be kind of, he'd have to kind of give those positions up. But either way, John and Rizone heading for the race lead into Mackets and Beckett's for the first time in this race. Polo gaining on Boker. No DRS just yet, but very close for all positions here. Now, Graham has joined back the session, but Ricochet, who does have damage, JRT Norris did pick up some carbon fiber, I thought, from that. Axe also at the very back from this, and Jarv, I believe, may have picked up some damage, but he got actually the one who got the very lucky out of that one. Now, John gonna take what is definitely P1 now on Booker, on Graham, and Rizone also gets by, but Rizone is challenging for the race lead. We saw so far this season John win in Australia and be on podium in Hungary. Who was on the podium with them? Mr. Boker, Rizone, and John were the three on podium. Now Rizone coming for the race lead, goes to the right side and goes down the inside. Side by side. And Rizone still challenging around the outside. He might just get this, but side by side through where K-Mag and Grosjean collided last season in real life Formula 1. But now Rizone sticking through the outside, Jack in the slipstream as well. Rizone side by side still into sector 2.
Let's go for the
He might
switch
switch him back. And down the order goes JRT Norris because he's out of the race. Graham also falling back as well in BSC. Ricochet has pitted JRT Norris out of the race.
Yeah, through left field, Rizone just tapped the back of John, almost lost the car, so he's very, very lucky there. Now he can charge some ERS, as with John, and they'll resume the battle under the green flags. Jack is actually up to third after Polo God. His poor start. Papa Lucas back up to fifth behind his main championship rival, who is running away over 2 race wins now. This championship will be wrapped up before you know it in the next couple of races.
Don't count out Jack sitting here in third. A podium in LDRL, Battle Boker, very fast at this racetrack. You know, we could possibly see a lot of guys contend for this race win. But now, for this race lead under the VSC about to end, Rizone is trying to gain on John and get him in the right place at the right time because he's got to get this race lead and keep it. Now, DRS trains here are very effective, but do you want to be in the race lead or do you want to be in second? Which we're about to have the VSC and we're about to go back to the flag.
He's got an amazing run.
He gets past him, but reruns wide. And now sideways. John trying to challenge back. John does not make a move, but Jack is right there to challenge if anything happens. But no, Rizone keeping the race lead right now.
John heavily misjudged his delta, but he's going to go for
now,
it
here comes
with DRS.
A great battle so far we see at the race lead, but now John and Rizone. Rizone is now behind, but John taking the race lead. He moves him almost. He gets to the rear gearbox. He almost moved him and sent him out of the way, but Jack is there to challenge as well. And yellow flags, I think that's Beatnik. No, that is maybe Axe, because he was slow. Also,
yeah, so that's... Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No, Jack is gaining on this train, and Boker, he's still within DRS, and he's right there, because Rizone might be slower at this period of time. But now, for this race lead, 6/10. What were you going to say? Yellow flag, that's Jarv out.
That
Through
might
cops.
cause something, so just hold on for a second. Cop is a heavy spot for crashes like that. And not a virtual safety car again. Wow, so John really has to learn from his previous mistake. But yeah, just while this virtual safety car, just to answer Utah Elephant's question, Axe wasn't really supposed to make it. So Dominic Square's brother logged on and yeah, now he was sat in AI, and I think still is for these first few laps of the Grand Prix. So has caused some trouble, I think, on the first lap.
Mr. Boker's lost some time to Jack, and Jack is gaining that time back on Rizone, and I think Boker's gaining that time as well. B-Nick gets a 3-second time penalty, but coming for the restart, Rizone got a lot closer this time compared to where he was. He was originally 5 tenths back, but now he's 2 tenths and back for the race lead. DRS enabled, but now here comes Rizone and John. DRS training and slipstreaming down into sector 2. Rizone down the inside. Side by side, Rizone is behind again, and side by side they keep it clean. Now here comes Jack. Jack yet to get in the podium, a best finish of 4th so far back at Australia. Mr. Boker not even in the podium spot as well. Could this be the race where it's the most competitive for Boker? Still keeping that race lead gap. There is 3/10 is that gap. And GRS trains throughout the top 8. Kagoda getting close to Polo as well for P6. Kagoda, his best finish previously was 5th back at USA, and he's not really had much of a points finish since then. And his last Tier 1 start was last season. So now he comes back to the Tier 1 to fight with the big boys. And now he's got the GRS out of Rumbly Fungus, but Rumbly Fungus is now within that train all the way to 14th as well. So there's 2 trains within that top 7, and from 8th, 9th to 14th. Purple Sector 3 by Razone. Kagoda fastest lap. There you go, Tax as well now. Ram, there you go. Now for this race lead, 2/10 is that gap. Now, awards have been started for this season. For right now, awards have been the thing that's been started for the end of the season. So, best battle, is this going to be the one you see on there? Now, coming for the race lead, Razone gaining on John again. John having to defend for all he can, but Razone stays behind again, heading to Sector 2.
Can I just say, this is effectively an 8-car fight for the lead. The top 8 are all in DRS range of each other. This is absolutely incredible stuff. It may come across as boring, but these guys do go for moves, and they sometimes pay off, and we get battles like what we're seeing here with John and Razone. Do not turn your back. We're witnessing something quite exciting here.
Yeah, 7 cars now in that train. It dropped to 7 after Rumbly Fungus got slightly out of DRS.
Oh, Polo got to the grass.
Kagoda goes by. Polo filling to P7. Now Kagoda's lost some sight. But yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, originally this race was going to be dynamic before last night. The thing was, last night we said, hey, alright, we see the problems we see in Tier 2. We want to try to make the best racing possible. We know this track provides the best racing it can, and this is one of the best tracks for DRS trains, overtaking and everything. So we want to provide it with a great race, and we want to have it a clear race because it would provide the great racing. And so far, we've seen great racing so far.
This is effectively real life weather. We're almost at peak British summertime now, and this is basically what it looks like. It's warm. It's very relaxing if you're the kind of person to do that. But we'll
and for the race lead,
about the relaxed. Yep.
Into Sector 2, he couldn't make a move. He wasn't too close enough, but Kagoda has lost GRS to there, and now they're in a 3-car train with Polo, Kagoda, and Rumbly Fungus. So Polo within a Haas kind of sandwich, which Haas have yet to have a double points finish this season. They're the lowest in the constructors out of any team, so they've got to do a lot of work to gain back on them. And Kagoda, I think he wants to use more ERS to catch back up to these guys, but he's very low as well. And I think the lowest person in that top 5 train is Jack.
Yep.
And there's 7 different teams running in the top 7, and Kagoda gets a penalty, but already the positions gained. F1 driver up 7 positions, 3 for Danny Skedit and 3 for Kagoda already.
The undercut is very
warm. When has it ever happened? Go.
I mean, it's
go ahead,
been more for like 2 weeks. Yeah, the undercut is very powerful around here. If you can get yourself into some clean air, you're going to monitor the gap, but there's not really much of a gap. Oh, someone...
Phoenix spun.
Oh, he's pitting as well. Bit of an early stop on mediums, especially for the race lead, though. 1/10 separate John and the zone for like the 7th lap in a row now. This is quite something.
Yeah, I believe Beatnik just picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding as well. F1 driver isn't within that battle, but he's in the medium tires. And Ricochet, who pitted on the hards earlier in this race as well. So keep in mind, if a safety car comes out, which it did twice last season, we could possibly see something like that happen, where those guys come into play. Anyways, 4:10 separates the gap to the race lead. Kagoda's falling without a DRS of Rapalucas, but still contending for P6 is amazing for Kagoda, considering he's a Tier 2 driver, and it just shows how the tier placements were really wrong this season, to be honest. With all that, it really shows who really should have been in Tier 1, who should have been in Tier 2. Beatnik kind of showing he should have been Tier 2, and he is, but Kagoda showing he probably should have been Tier 1 with all this so far. And Atlantis picks up a time penalty. And it doesn't look too well already for it doesn't look too well already for Atlantis and Boker, because Boker, I know penalties could come into play, but Boker's not running on the podium. It'd be 9 in a row if he got there. And Atlantis is not running in the points, which it'd be the most consecutive. He already has it tied right now. That's the way it would be if it stands right now. I gotta say, I thought this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, got it.
I was saying top 5 in this race within 2 seconds, with Rapalucas at the rear of this train, all slipstreaming each other and piling onto the back of John. So yeah, you continue.
I was gonna say, because Australia was a chaotic race, but probably one of the more dirty races. But if there's any race that I'd say would be the cleanest and probably so far, that would probably be the best one so far. I gotta say, if this one keeps staying the way it is, and we get a safety car or something late race to shine things up and get everything good, I gotta say this race is probably gonna be one of the ones to put up there. You know, last season it was Tax, DW, Rapalucas all contending for that race win. This season it's 5 cars so far at lap 8. We didn't see that at lap 8 last season. We saw Tax, DW, Rapalucas, and I believe we saw Polo as well. It was those 4 at the front. Yeah, last season's race was probably one of the classic races, I would say, from season 1. One of those races where it was great. And you know, you look back at the races last season. The races last season, I agreed with Rapalucas and agreed with other people that the Tier 1 races last season were probably so much better than they were at the start of the season of this one. Australia kind of was one of the better races this season. And Rizone pits, the undercut, Jack does as well.
Yep.
All 4 of them.
No penalties handed out. They've all gone into the pit lane with no speeding penalties, so that is crucial for their race, and especially how many positions you can lose within the DRS train. They will all go onto medium tyres, and it's a one-stop race, so freedom of tyre choice.
Either way, I was going to mention as they go on at mediums. Oh, Kagoda goes on hards? Okay. Well, regardless, I was going to mention Spain was still a good race. Spain was. And so was Hungary was decent, and Austria was probably, I put my top 3 for best races this season, but I think already you have to put this one in the top 3 already from what we've seen. It'll just get better and better, hopefully, from what we expect. There's still trained for the guys who stayed out, from Polo, Rumbly Fungus, and Danny Skedit, those guys. But it's kind of split them up with Rizone, and I think what's happened to John? Oh yeah, he stayed out. Never mind, I'm dumb. No, Rizone, Jack, and Boker's within that DRS train, but Rapalucas is outside of that DRS, what he needs to not have Polo guy picking up a penalty. And I'll have to find out, because now it's kind of split up. Stops. That's the way it goes, but we'll probably see Rizone, Jack, and Boker probably catch back up and get close to one another, and we'll probably see Rapalucas maybe catch up to them as well if they continue to battle. And now for P3, Fungus and Danny Skedit side by side. It might be pitting this lap, so they don't want to do that. Yeah, they're side by side in the pits. This ain't gonna end well. This ain't gonna end well.
It's touched.
And luckily, no damage. John pits as well. JC Graham gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Atlantis pits as well. So everyone in this race is pitted except for F1 driver, who had that quality ban, who started on the mediums. And the way this race could change with him, if he gets a safety car, oh boy. So I talked to a lot of other drivers. The undercut works so much better, and we might see Rizone take the race lead here from John. Coming out of the pits now. The pit exit. Here's John coming out.
Leaving now.
Rizone is there. Rizone might take the race lead, but they're side by side. Rizone gets ahead, and John gets out of Jack though.
Oh, Jack has almost got straight to the back of him, tried to be aggressive on the brakes there and make up the position. Boker remains in net 4th place though. Now just the question is, will they catch up to F1 driver? Probably not, but maybe he'll...
Polo and Kagoda, the 2 Irish drivers, heading side by side into Sector 2. Polo's ahead. We saw a disaster into this corner last season with Polo, but Polo gets out cleaner than you'd think. Rapalucas not within the train up there up front. He's gonna have to use that ERS to gain up to them. Everyone up there on ERS in that train is all really close, except for Boker, who has the best ERS at 68%. Rapalucas close to that as well, but Rapalucas is gonna have to try to gain on that if he wants to have a chance for this race win, if no safety car or no VSC comes into factor in this race.
Can I just say, this is now good for John, because it was reversed before. John was struggling on the RS. No, look, he's going to go for it here. He's not hanging around.
Around the outside, it's Stowe. He might just do it, but he won't. Wow, a great battle so far for this race win. Rizone passes lap. Boker takes it back. You can tell Boker used a lot of ERS that lap and stayed within the DRS train very well compared to Rizone and John and the guys in front. Now, I know Boker don't want this for the championship, but Boker might get back here and maybe getting Rapalucas into DRS here pretty soon because he's 1.1 within Boker. And Rapalucas, you know, if the championship stays the way it is right now, with the way it stands, 56 points between Rapalucas and Boker. Right now, this championship would be won if it stays the way it is right before Mexico, or right before USA. You're one after Mexico, which is only a few races away. Think about that. Taxis by Graham. And a attack from Polo got him back. Polo, Kagoda, Samsteed, Rumbling Fungus, all within a 4-car train as well. For the position, Tax, Graham, Danny Skedit as well. In a battle for P11. Graham goes wide off the racetrack. Sam kind of in the Haas train with Kagoda and Rumbling Fungus, the little sandwich right there. But now, Rapalucas, he's got himself within DRS range, or at least close to it. So, if he's able to get there, what's he able to do? Samseed tried to go side by side with Kagoda right there. Didn't end out well, or it didn't look like it was going to end out well. And now Samseed tries to go to the outside of Kagoda, but Rizone takes the fastest lap now while he is in net P1. Graham getting on Tax into turn 1. Danny Skedit as well. Graham, I mean, if you want to talk about sandwiches, Graham's in a finish sandwich, and now Graham defending from Danny Skedit, and Danny Skedit cannot go anywhere right there.
Yeah, those two have history. Graham not a big fan of the McLaren behind him, so he'll be defending extra aggressively, and he knows that Tax will play some mind games with the Finnish partnership there. They speak a lot of Finnish to each other in the chats, we know that. So it's not out of the question.
And you can't deny, Axe speeding in the pit lane for the first time this race. But you definitely can't deny, though, Graham has been in contention for many points this season, but he's got himself into incidents with Danny Skedit, incidents with others. He's just got himself in the wrong place at the wrong time half the time. And that's something that might cost him Renault the Constructors' Championship if they lose it. That's something they could be thinking back on about, hey, you know, I costed myself this race because I got into an incident. And now for the race, P1, rezoned by John. At Stowe, mistake must have been made. Graham and Tax trade positions as well into Stowe. Tax on the inside, Graham on the outside. Extending Stowe right there, Graham getting ahead. And while Graham gets by Tax, look at where they are compared to that train. Graham might be catching up to this train with Tax and Danny Skedit, but Tax gets by Graham. Graham may have let him by there. And Tax, barely any ERS for him as well. And Rumbly Fungus on Sam, side by side. Whoa!
Here he comes.
John so close.
Oh! The fan wheels, Danny and Graham through Aintree, not giving each other an inch.
Racing very aggressively, kind of almost going back and forth on the straightaway, trying to defend. Polo and Kagoda go side by side, which is going to for sure cost them time with Tax and Graham, but I mean, Tax and Graham are going to cost themselves time as well by battling like they were. And lap 13 out of 26, halfway through this race. Going to a quick one, I'll tell you that. We have Italy next week. Don't forget about that, because that's one of the more quicker races. And now heading out of Maggots and Beckett's, John trying to gain on Rizone. Not enough ERS to do so, but Rizone is very low in ERS, below 10%. John might make a move down here. No, not enough. But he was very close to wrecking himself right there. Sam getting in Kagoda. No, not enough. Kagoda. It's a horrible entry, and Sam might get him an exit. Sam side by side in the chicane, while Polo catches up to the lap car of GSR Axe. Now, Sam Steed and Kagoda are going to lose DRS to Polo God. But now, for this race lead, for what is net P1, they're staying pretty even with F1 driver not gaining as much. 18.9 second gap. Milo, what's a pit stop range time around here? About 25, 26, 27 seconds, you'd say?
Yeah,
Probably
it's
more?
a very, very long pit lane. Like, on the map, you can see it's like halfway on the entry. If you're braking, then you're at 37 miles an hour for most pits, so you are looking a closer to 30-second pit stop. But remember, he will be on the fresher soft tyres, F1 driver, so he'll be able to catch back up into the DRS.
In the cops! Oh, Jack could not make a move. Jack was close, but he could not make the move. And now, Sam C getting Kagoda in the cops as well for P8. Sam, not gonna try it. Hits him though. Gets him sideways. And now, Rumbly Fungus, Graham have all caught up back.
John goes off to the grass.
Pits.
Loses a bit of time on the exit. F1 driver's actually pitting this lap. Bit of an early stop, but remember he's got fresh softs to use. He'll make most of them.
Undercut for sure will work. I mean, I would think so. It's lap 15 now, so yeah. Jack just hit the curb and picked a penalty. Right there, watch that happen. Sam Seed by Kagoda, and Sam Seed is losing time to... We see many people close. Do we see a safety car at any point in this race, Milo? We've seen VSCs.
That was what I was thinking F1 driver would go for. It would go as long as possible, try and wait for a safety car, get a cheap pit stop.
Two teammates, Polo by F1 driver out of the pits, F1 driver to 7th. And Polo, I want to mention, how far is he behind? He's 7.5 behind. If these guys in the front train continue to DRS off each other battle and just make mistakes and you run no ERS, if F1 driver charges his way through and Polo and F1 driver work together, maybe F1 driver can kind of get up there. F1 driver, Polo, trade positions. Ah, Typhoon's wheel was messed up. Alright, that's what happened. Alright. I was kind of curious. I knew something was wrong with the wheel, he said, but I didn't know what was wrong with it, of course. 5-car DRS train for the lead. Now, from here back on, 6th to 13th, all within that train. All very close. Graham running wide again, not the first time this race.
Rizona's made a massive error! It's gone onto the grass! Sorry, it's gone onto the grass! Here comes Jack as well for P2 in this race! Massive mistake out front!
And now here comes Boker into the chicane! Boker to the left side! Contact with Rizone! It's Boker! Side by side again, Rizone! Rizone responds! Oh no! And now he re-enters the racetrack.
Here comes F1
Here
driver.
comes F1 driver.
Place.
F1 driver from P19 to P5, and Rizone spins around again and goes into the gravel. Rizone around, and his race is over for sure because he's not going to recover from this.
He can't reset. That's gaining an advantage. He's just letting the car roll here. Goes back up into first gear. But Jack now is in pole position essentially to try and snatch this lead away. John only has one warning. To Jack's 3-second penalty though.
Boker has nothing. Rapalucas has 2 warnings. Keep in mind, Boker, if he takes a podium in this race, this would be 9 consecutive podiums, the most in ARL history. Never seen that before. But Boker back into that podium spot. Rapalucas almost collided with Rizone, really, and he's lost time.
Here comes Jack. John making some moves to break this toe, but Jack takes the lead of this British Grand Prix, but not for long.
John back around the outside, but Jack down the inside again, side by side through the chicane. They keep it cleaner like Rizone and Boker did. Now side by side through the exit. Jack to the race lead. How about that? How about that?
Incredible.
Wow. Wow. F1 driver, fastest lap, but look how much he's gaining on Rapalucas as well. You might see him for this race win at the end if he's gonna be close to this. He used a lot of ERS that lap, but the thing is, you might see him get close, and if a safety car comes out, trust me, it ain't over for F1 driver. Now for the race lead again, John to the outside of Jack. Again, just like Hamilton and Bottas.
So close.
Rep Lucas gaining DRS again. F1 driver 6.1 back, but now for P6 as well. Sam Steed and Polo stay close as well. Wow. Oh my god. What a British Grand Prix we've had. Please bring this into F1 2020, how good this British Grand Prix was, for sure. This is great so far.
I'm just glad we're getting one in the real life season.
Yeah,
it's finally been
got that too.
confirmed that we're getting one.
Same with Austria, that it's actually confirmed it's, you know, gonna stay that way with July. Now, Jack defending. John trying to attack while Jack protects. And now, heading to the chicane, it is position trading between Sam Steed and Polo, but Jack is gonna stay ahead. What a drive from him. We've not seen this drive from anyone yet like Jack. The drive of the season so far, I gotta say. And now he needs to, of course, gain 3 seconds because of the penalty, or hope for everyone else to get 3 seconds, but that's probably unlikely as well to think about. Now everyone runs close from P6 on back, P1 to P4. So do we see a safety car at all?
I mean, that would be the last thing Jack needs with his penalty, unfortunately. But
The outside. Side by side. In sector 2, battling for the race lead again. John there, Jack around the outside, keeping it close but wheel banging. Side by side, and great racing for this race lead. John gets ahead though, but Jack is still side by side, and the cops. Now, around the outside of cops, John goes ahead. And Jack and the back to Beckett's. No way this will work. Jack
don't do it! Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy cow, what has happened there? How did they manage this? Oh my god. And Jack slipstreaming John again for this race lead. Boker's their challenge. Oh my god. Holy cow. That scared me. I thought that was not going well. Axe, 5 seconds for ignoring the blue flag. Might get some special medal there. Right there, blue flag. But again, lap 19 of 26. We saw a 3-car battle for the win. F1 driver fastest lap. But look at the gap he's gained. 4 seconds on these guys. He's very low in ERS, but
Jack hits the back of
4
John.
seconds. Wait, does Boker damage? Someone said Boker is damage. Someone said Boker does. Boker does not.
No.
Jack gaining on John.
Oh my god.
Jack gaining for the race lead again into sector 2. And all of this is helping F1 driver for P5.
It is.
What could be on the podium. And he might get close enough to Jack to take P4. But we have never seen a podium from the P19 position. We've never seen a race win from lower than 10th in the grid. We've seen Boker starting 6th, Jack starting 5th, Axe ignoring the blue flag, kind of similar to W from last week at Austria. 2 pad players versus 2 wheel players at the front of the field. Oh, Jack is gaining again. He's so close. You know, Polo penalty. 2nd time. Now, substitute for the race lead. John gets in the grass. Now, here comes Jack for the race lead. John protecting and defending, but not enough because Jack takes the race lead back over. And all of this, again, helping F1 driver. 3.4 is that gap. He might get caught up at the end of this race. He might catch up to DRS at least DRS. I don't know about passing them, but he might get there from P19 if he steals his podium. Drive of the day, yellow flag as well. B-Nick is around. Down to P16 all from all that. Again, a great battle as well with P6 on back as well, but Sam C taking a penalty. Now, again, a great battle between Jack and John, battling it out and keeping it very close and keeping it very clean between the front 2. Now, slipstreaming and kind of moving around for that race lead to get the slipstream off. Now, Jack keeping the race lead into sector 2. 3.2 with that one driver, 3.1.
Warnings again. John still only has 1 warning, with Mr. Boker no warnings. So unfortunately for Jack, he has to hope for a miracle now to hold on to this race victory.
Boker's kind of fell back. 7/10 though. It was 6-7/10. Boker's fell back. I mean, with all these 2 battling, it's going to help him again. But when does Boker kind of challenge? Because right now, with this race win, it'd be John having the race win for the second time running. But Boker knows if he knows that Jack is a penalty, he can maybe challenge. And now, again in the straight, John gaining into the race lead. He goes side by side into Stowe. Around the outside, John goes. Does he keep it? Side by side, John goes through.
Jack has very little ERS. This is what is costing him here. But he's doing well to actually put up a fight here. Look at the top four, all within about half a second.
You might see, again, F1 driver get up to that battle, and he might be in that little half a second there is. Well, within that second in general. Sucks for Zone got out of that battle because now doesn't look good for Toro Rosso in the constructor sittings. Could get passed by Ferrari, could get passed by Alfa Romeo today. Graham and Atlantis trade positions. Atlantis going ahead. I don't know what happened to Graham, but Atlantis is outside the points. If anything goes right off of penalties, he might just get in the points, but Jack, close enough for the race lead, not close enough to make a move. Kagoda and Polo God, the two Irish drivers. Kagoda goes ahead, but Polo makes contact with him. Now, Rumbly Fungus is lost off this train for P9. So, it's really split between two trains here, and now, again, close for the race lead between Jack and John. Oh my god, Jack and John, their battle has been so great so far. So is Rizone in the front of the field. The Britain battles we've seen so far have been amazing. Rizone and Ricochet, though, for P14. Making contact, around goes Ricochet, but saves it.
Here comes Jack. He's looking for the outside at Stowe. It hasn't worked. This divides Boker in.
Oh, but Jack dives down the inside. Graham has left the session. And now for the race lead again. Jack gaining on him. Trying to look at the inside, but it's Boker.
He's had to lift off.
All within 5 tenths now. 4 tenths. That was for a moment. It's the back of John slightly.
1.6 is the gap. He'll be in DRS by the end of this lap, and then he's got 4 more laps from lap 23 to 26 to try and mount a challenge on those fresher, soft tyres.
And now for the race lead again, Jack down the inside on John, side by side, and it will invite Boker to go in, but John trying to switch back, not enough. And again, F1 driver 1 step closer to DRS. Look how close he is.
DRS.
Right there,
Surely.
right there.
Yeah, now.
If F1 driver wins this race, driver of the season, I think driver of the league. John losing traction, and John calls himself, and now Boker takes more than that P1 is because of penalties. And now F1
John did get a warning.
8 tenths. Didn't or did?
Didn't. I don't know.
Did not.
Sorry.
Boker gaining with DRS again on Jack. Doesn't try it.
Oh, that was close.
Look at how close John is. He's about to turn him almost. He almost turned him. And he hits the back of Boker again. From P19 to P5. F1 driver. An amazing recovery with 4 laps to go. All within 1.7 seconds. Those softer tires for F1 driver. Boker really into that P1 right now. What the battle is for the race win for P2 because of the penalties from Jack. Mr. Boker has yet to pick up a warning. John. 1 warning, 2 warnings from him now. But for what is the race lead, John to the outside of Boker, and around the outside, John might get it. Yellow flag, zones out.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Changing everything, and Jack is screwed. Oh my god! You saw it coming. I should have said something, but too bad. And we're zoned out of the race for the 4th time running. Oh, how the tables have turned. And then
sorry, Jack, your win's gone. Oh no.
Oh man, your podium's gone now. Oh man. We're gonna have to restart with 2 to go, surely. 2 to go.
John got a pen. Someone just said that. Did I miss that? He's got a penalty. John just picked. I think he might appeal that, but John has just picked up a 3-second penalty.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them now.
He'll need to show his race director for sure.
appeals.
That's the thing. He'll need to just do that. But
exactly.
how much F1 driver got saved there. If he can charge his way through the field, I know how much Jack is going to be battling with Boker, but Jack has a penalty, John has a penalty, so really, F1 driver's kind of on podium right now. Yeah, Crumply Tripod said it the best. This is a madness right now. Holy cow!
It is.
Oh my god, and we're going to restart with 2 to go. Oh boy.
This is like a Brazil scenario from last year. I was watching the race last night, as I do
I was
with
too.
Rewinds on a Saturday.
Yeah. I was watching with some of the Tier 3 drivers, Davis, Fire King, I was watching with Thrasher as well. I was watching with those guys, and we were joking around about a lot of stuff, but no, that was the thing. I watched that race, I watched it back and stuff, and I was just thinking how these safety car restarts go, and I was thinking, you know, if someone could get a move into where Gasly and Leclerc passed each other in last season, maybe we could see a battle. But I think the safety cars are going to be coming in this time because there's no way that the guys pitting the guys pitting are going to have to catch up, but how slow does Jack go? How slow does things go with him? Does he back up the pack? Does he allow other drivers to get an advantage on him? What does he do? Because the thing is, he has a penalty. He's got to charge everything right. I don't know with this race anymore. This is great. Safety car changed everything, but we see our first safety car since Hungary when we saw a ton of them. Now, Axe is going to have to try to catch up as well as a lap car. So is Graham as well. He's going to have to catch up. He's not even in the session. Atlantis will have to catch up. He's on the soft tires. So is Ricochet. So is Beatnik. But the thing is, Ricochet Beatnik might not be able to catch up. And I think we'll be coming in this time. Oh boy.
Best league race I've ever watched, says Crumply Tripod. Wow.
Better than esports.
Wow. But that's... yeah,
that's
we get a lot of these late safety cars.
We
There's
do.
like a small montage of them on the Alpha League YouTube, and yeah, the safety car is in this lap. Atlantis will catch up, I think. Graham isn't in the session, which is a bit of a bummer.
If Jack backs these guys up, Atlantis should catch up, and he should be able to. Now, heading to the final sector. How much does Jack back up for this race lead? It's John with a penalty, Jack with an Axe ignoring the yellow flag, but John and Jack have all penalties. They need to make sure they're in contention, and they need to make sure they pull away as much as possible. But how far does he back them up? Atlantis ignoring the yellow flag, but
yeah,
when does Jack go? He goes now. John by Boker. John to the race leading track before the finish line. Rapalookas and Sam Seed, F1 drivers fall down the order. Side by side between the two Alfa Romeos. F1 driver banks Polo. Side by side between Kagoda and Danny. Side by side again. And now Sam Seed up to P5 for the race lead. John didn't get any penalty for that for passing Boker before the start finish line. Now that probably will be reviewed because of that. But the two guys with penalties lead the race, and around goes F1 driver. Around he goes in front of the field. Around in front of the field from P19, dropping down the back. And now for this race lead, 4/10 separates the gap. Dropping down the order, 2/10 the gap between the two Haas teammates as well. Sam Seed, where's he came from? He has got up to 5th. Polo got back to 6th, and Danny Skedit on for his best points finish so far. So, what's really for this race win? Because of penalties, Boker and Rapalookas and Sam Seed might be even on the podium for the first time in ARL because of penalties. He might.
He does. He has the penalty and an extra warning.
Yup. So there you go.
John losing the back end.
Points. Rumbling Fungus going around in front of Tax.
Atlantis is in the points. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. 2/10 separate the gap between Boker and John. Coming to the final lap this time. Boker extending snow a little bit, but heading to the final lap this time. It's really, because of penalties, Boker, Rapalookas, and Jack on the podium. It could possibly be Danny if he does not have any penalties. He could be close for that podium spot as well, with John and them. F1 driver gets by Graham. Now Rapalookas 4/10 between Boker. You know, Rapalookas won this race last season. Rapalookas could possibly win this race. Ricochet, fastest lap, but outside the top 10.
Maybe not though, he's on fresh start, skating on F1 driver. And then Atlantis picked up a penalty as well. Might not be the end for him. Rumbly Fungus another penalty as well, so he doesn't have to worry about him. Yeah, final lap, it's all sort of calmed down at the front for the time being. But Mr. Boker, if John does appeal, he'll need to go for a last gasp mood Move, I can't speak. On John, what on earth is happening? Sorry.
Also want to give a shout out to Kagoda running in a good points position after last season. Not many points finishes, but what is going to be the race win, it looks like Boker. How has he done this season? He's done so well, not even leading a single lap today until now. What could be the race win for Boker? And Ricochet picks up a penalty, but Jack, what an amazing performance from him. He's going to win this on track, it looks like. He's low in fuel, low in ERS though, but does Rapalucas try any last charge because he could possibly get the race win if anything happens. Now, Jack coming to win the race on track. An amazing performance from him. Well done to him winning on track, but not off of penalties. John finishes second on track, but I think it's going to be Boker winning the race for the second time. Rapalucas, Jack in the podium, and up a few positions goes Kagoda and Danny. And now, Sam Seed to 5th, Tax to 6th, Atlantis 10th.
Points! He's done it!
12!
No, he's
12!
He'll appeal that,
Oh.
he'll appeal that. I know what it was for, I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, the 5-second heat appeal. But Boker wins the race for the 6th time, I believe, in ARL. Boker has won for the 6th time. That's the second most wins. He is one more away from tying Riles. One more away. But, still, very great race. Oh my god, great race from everyone. Jack taking his first podium. Let's get the post-race interviews in. Holy cow.
And this is where the fun starts. This is where the fun starts, oh my days.
Oh, yeah. Can I just say right now, best race of the season. Best, by far. By far. That was way better than I expected. Way better. Amazing.
I mean, me and
performance
James
from all
sort
you.
of just...
Come here.
Me and James just sort of chilled. I do. Bruh, you're 0 the whole race. I used 2 to get into your DRS.
Yeah. Hey, nice 23 seconds for Axe, by the way. No, best race of the season for sure. I will say that right now. Best race of the season. Can guarantee that one. Either way,
I don't agree with you on that one, but me and James sort of just DRS trained. But yeah, the sort of battle at the front was incredible.
no, seriously, that was way better than the other races this season. I think that was the best race. You know, probably we might beat it with Italy or Germany, or get close to it, but I'm not sure. Regardless, though, great battles all at the front as well. It's late race safety car, guys. Again, this decides the races.
It's not gonna have a tremendous, but part 2.
We'll see. Honestly, like, Milo can agree with me, though, I'm pretty sure. From a commentator's point of view, were insane. Jack trying to go side by side at Maggots and Beckett's. Jack at turn 1, or at the final corner, going side by side with John getting by. Rizone contending. It was always everyone up there contending. An F1 driver had part of it for some time and then spun out after he was on the better tire.
And then he did it. then he went for it, and yeah, didn't end very well. Whew.
No, did not. Boker, race win. Make sure your audio is included. Hey, I gotta say, you've got these race wins off the penalties as of recently. You've done very well, especially at Hungary and today with the penalties, keeping it very clean and not getting any penalties whatsoever, or not getting as much as the other drivers. It's got yourself the race win, and you have taken your 6th race win in this league in just your 9th start, and you keep the record now for the most consecutive podiums at 9 in a row.
Lovely.
How do you feel about that?
It's good. The penalties. It's just, you know, you just got to keep it on the track. Well, because of all the races at Britain this week, it's probably helped with like what I know about the track limits. Like, I knew that if you
Right.
went off at cops, you could slightly lift off and just get away with it. But not like, doesn't lose you time, but it gets you away with a warning. It's probably like the same as just going through cops normally. And just, yeah, because all the races in the week, I think it was just, yeah, it was just like second nature to not cut the tracks. But, yeah.
You were kind of the guy behind the battle. You were just the guy waiting for stuff to happen. You battled with Jack, John Razone up there at the front. Rapalucas was right behind you most of the race. But tell me about the battle you saw in front of you. How nervous you were thinking. Hey, if this guy's wrecked, will I be involved, or what happens? What did you think when Razone originally spun out?
Well, a comment on the on what happened with the race. I was nothing in the wrong at all. He was just, he should have backed out there. I left the, yeah, I was ahead into the corner. But with Jack and John, they were battling extremely hard. So I was saying like F1 drivers going to close in at this week. What are they thinking? Like, cause I was like letting them battle really, because I knew they were of a rate they were just going to collide, and that happened.
Yeah.
So John went off at the cops, and just I benefited from that, and then the safety car came out, so I just checked everyone's warnings, and yeah, and I thought, for real, I had like a glitch with the screen that it didn't show warnings because I had none for a while.
Yeah,
Until I checked the race
I thought so
director.
too as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just being in the DRS chain. It's just about waiting for something to happen and then just, you know, taking advantage of it. It's not, when the move's there, go for it. But like a smart thing to do is just wait for anything to happen, and yeah.
I'm pretty sure your gap into this race in the championship was 52 points heading into today. You're gonna extend that gap to 59 points, I'm pretty sure, after that. Championship lead, how early do you think you'll win it?
No clue. Right, I'll look at the schedule. I'd say
James.
if I win it by Mexico, it's good. Yeah. What?
I just watched Reese's clip. Yeah, you might be fucked. Like, I can't lie.
No. I clipped it myself, so yeah.
Yeah.
If I win it by,
Yeah, hopefully we get both sides of it.
if I win it at Mexico or USA, then yeah, that'll be good.
Well, talk to me about the Razone clip, because I'm not sure if you've seen it after the race. I'm not sure if you've seen what has happened, but tell me about it though. The contact with Razone. Yeah, make sure you do look at it now, because I do want your opinion on it, because
James, I'll
you went
DM
side
it
by
to you.
side. Razone DNF'd out of the race and lost in contention from the race when he spun twice after the contact with you. Did you think he was going to be in contention for the race win? Did you think he was going to still be up there if it weren't for that?
Yeah, of course, he was leading most of the train. I'm just looking at it now.
I just sent it to
So I'll
you.
go for a move. Yes, there's a slight tap. Why is he sticking it in there? Hold up.
That's what she said.
I was expecting him to back out, honestly. But then I saw the red marker, so I tried to just... I don't know about that, but I don't know why he's trying to keep it in. I was expecting him to back out.
Regardless of that, though, congratulations on what is the win. Now, Milo, do you have any questions for Boker?
There we go. Just quickly, any comments on the words he's already proceeding to? This is for Razone. The words he's proceeding to throw at you in regards to
Yeah, I saw that.
touch of the chicane?
I'll just have another look. Yeah.
It's in tickets, BNB.
Yeah, I saw the ticket
okay.
name.
Oh,
Yeah, that's just I'll probably do the same, to be honest. I'll have a look at Reese's clip now because it got sent. Nah, that's
Anyways,
not a penalty. That's not a penalty. I'm not saying that advice on myself. That's a bit. People do that to me and they've not got penalties from it.
Love you at Mr. Poker under fives.
anyways, congratulations on the race win. Now I'm gonna go to the second place finisher, last season's winner. Came up just short of this. Rapper Lucas, you were within that train the whole time, except for some part of the race after pit stops. How'd you get yourself back in that train, and how'd you stay within that DRS gap the whole race? Because it was gonna be back and forth, and those two battling obviously helped you get back in it. But tell me about the battles you saw in front of you. Did you think, oh shit, at some points, or did you think nothing's gonna happen? What did you think with those battles in front?
Well, I mean, of course, I got held up in the pit lane, as always. And so I dropped out of the second. And I had to sweat like I've never sweated at Silverstone before. I got back in the DRS and then they started battling, so I was like, oh, okay, I did it. I'm pretty sure I caught them just off pace, but they started battling after. And then Mr. Kagoda went on to the hard compound, so he held everybody up and he sent a Hail Mary to F1 driver because he could get past all of them. So then obviously I caught up and yeah, they were fighting like crazy. I mean, it must have been a really good, from a viewer's perspective for sure. You know, Jack and John, right? Like every lap, wheel to wheel, it looked really interesting. But obviously, me and James, we couldn't really do much because, you know, his situation was a bit different. I was already on 2 warnings, and I knew the guys in front had pens, so there was really no point in kind of giving it absolutely everything I had, and you know, trying to get past because it wouldn't really gain me anything.
This is a good opportunity to then what was these there we go.
I've got to ask you though. I talked to you before this race before. We agreed that the races this season haven't been as exciting as last season. The drives to this field in Tier 1 at least haven't been as good. But how do you compare this race to the other races? I know from a commentator's point of view, for myself, Milo was probably the best race of the season and probably the best race since Italy or Britain last season, really.
I mean, I made one of the best moves of my career on Polo early. I saw a gap. I saw he got a little bit shaky off turn, whatever, the one that leads onto the shorter of the 2 DRS straights. I saw my gap, so I just sent it down the inside, and yeah, he showed perfect respect, and it's really good. So yeah, really happy about that. It was a really nice move from my point of view. And then after that, it was, you know, for me personally, obviously, you know, I'm obviously going to have a different perspective than you guys, but for me, it was just a pretty standard sort of just following the guys in front. So it wasn't the most exciting, like, crazy race for me, but I'm sure it would have, you know, I think it's still better than a lot of the races we've had recently. So, you know, there's always positives.
Yeah, there is. Now, I know the championship battle might not be as much in your head, but 50 plus almost to 60 points. At this point, you probably gotta just be hoping Boker wins it already, right? I know you don't want to lose confidence and stuff, but you're still being on the podium. You're still contending with him. You're still got the pace of him. You're still up there all the time. So you gotta have some positives from that at least. How do you look at that?
Well, I mean, Mr. Boker's one of the best drivers in the sort of more casual side of league racing, so there's no shame, you know, in losing to him. He's incredibly quick, consistent, never makes mistakes, and, you know, and still the league is so competitive that second place is, I think second place this season is better than the championship last season, just because of how much more competition there is. Obviously, it doesn't feel as good, but, you know, James has done an incredible job this season. The championship fight is pretty much over. I mean, it's almost 3 races, and unless someone shoots him, there's no chance that we're going to catch him. But you know, second place, I'd still be very happy with second place. Obviously, made a lot of points on the people around me, like Rizal and obviously John. So yeah, really happy with that. And yeah, that's about it.
Tell me about the Constructors battle, though, because Williams are much closer in the Constructors battle than you are to Boker. So how do you look at yourself and DW gaining on Boker and Graham in these final few races, since we have about 5 races to go?
Well, not good, suggesting that you just couldn't be asked to race today, so, yeah. You know, at the start of the season, I was looking forward to being teammates with Dylan, and, yeah, it just hasn't really worked out, I guess.
Fucking gay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what exactly the reason was, but from what I've gathered, he just couldn't be fucked to race basically, and so he didn't. And on a race like this where a lot of shit happened, he could have been up there with us, but
Look
he
what I
isn't.
fucking sent in that ticket. Sorry for distraction.
Oh my god. Anyways, congratulations on the P2. Milo, do you have any questions for Rapalucas?
No, you just about ran through everything there, so.
Cheers,
Move on.
Christian.
Now on to Jack. A win on track for you, Jack. Make sure your audio is included. Jack,
It's not
great
good.
performance, great battles, great back and forth action. You provided the commentary booth to go insane, especially with that late race safety car. We knew you were done, but you still finished on the podium, your first podium in ARL. You battled with Boker here in LDL earlier this week, and also you took the podium there as well. So how do you look at today's race compared to the previous races you've had in this league?
Britain's a good track for me, and I can easily do well as what happened in LDRL on Wednesday. And many tracks have been caught up in penalties like this one today, and a spin at Spain. In Australia, and I had penalties for me as well, which dropped me from 2nd to 4th, so I've cut down on the penalties to get some better results.
Now, this is your first podium in ARL, but when do you see a better result, second or even the win coming? Because we have 5 races left: Italy, Germany, Mexico, USA, Brazil. Where do you see your best chance at possibly taking a better result than third?
Possibly Mexico or Germany. That them two I could get second or first in any of them, but you just can't tell from early.
Reese is very strong, but
so
not too fast.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now
Very.
we're getting Mexico changed for Spa, bro. Everyone's gonna vote for
Yeah.
Spa. We ain't racing at Mexico, I can tell you that right now. If there's a poll vote,
Oh, we do.
probably one
We
person will
do.
vote for Mexico, so Mexican guy. Wait, actually, let me check. Are there any Mexicans in the league?
I don't think so.
Don't think
Yeah,
so.
so no one's going to vote for Mexico. Anyway.
I continue, Jack? If you were still considering. No.
Alright.
Oh god, I didn't know you were gonna continue.
I will go say anything.
These results like this help Racing Point a lot. Racing Point took their first podium this season since last season at Abu Dhabi, back in Tier 3 earlier this weekend. You took a podium for them in Tier 1. How does it help Axe's confidence as a team leader, because he's gone, oh, Racing Pointless, but Silent gone from P20 to P6 yesterday, and Patriot took the win in Tier 3, and you have took a podium for them in Tier 1 as well.
Well, obviously it's encouraging. Helping Axe is anything which I could do anytime, because I raced with him in GSR, LDRL, Alpha League, and he's a good person, so I'm happy to help him get him up the constructors, and probably help his encourage him as well.
Now, last safety car, late race safety car, what was your initial thought when that came out? Because you had a penalty, and the rest kind of didn't at that time.
I was annoyed because I got a warning when I was side by side through Beckett's with John, and I had to leave him space. But obviously I got a warning from that, which caused the penalty. So I was annoyed with that. Then the safety car came out. I didn't know if it was good or bad, and I got caught out of the safety car restart, not knowing that the green would come out before the second to last corner. So I just had to brake late to keep track position, and then I just tried to just gun it as fast as I could to create a big enough gap to keep the position for the 3 seconds to claim the win, but obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah, congratulations on your P3, your first podium in ARL. Milo, do you have any questions for today's podium finisher for the first time?
So where's this pace come from then? Have you just had previous experience with this track, or has it just come with plenty of practice?
And we have to have this track every single race this this week, so I'm pretty sure if we weren't familiar with the track, then there'd be some problems.
Alright.
Well, yeah, Britain's a very familiar track, and I've been practicing a lot with Rapalucas, Ricochet, and Polar God, and many more. So, I'd say practice has made this result come out, I reckon.
Any other questions, Milo Gaming?
No, that's it.
Well, congratulations on the P3. Now, I think we should go to our P4 finisher, who is contending for the race win, who took the pole position, John. Milo, I'll let you get to John, since you've not really had so much action with interviewing. I'll let you interview him.
So any comments on the race-long battles with the likes of Jack, Razone, and how do you feel being
Well, I mean, it was either because I was gonna do an undercut, but then everybody else behind me undercut me a lap early, so I'm like, oh well, great. Now, to be fair, I got very lucky in pits because I about got held by 6 cars behind me, so I'm lucky for that. No, but Razone and Jack, jeez, they made me work for it. I mean, Jack going side by side in cops and in the beginning of maggots, it's like, oh shit, something's gonna happen. But no, we both gave each other space. We didn't. I don't think we banged once, so you made me work for it, and Razone did as well. And unfortunately, he got involved in an incident early, and he kind of was out of the race pretty much. And then, so yeah, I mean, everybody gave me a really good battle. It was really fun. I mean, if this is not a race of the season, I mean, there's something wrong with people. I mean, yeah.
I've got a question about the teammate Gouts here with you. Red Bull's only points from a full-time drivers came from you. Gouts here hasn't got points, hasn't shown up as much, has only made half the races. Who do you see as your teammate, and where do you see yourself in the constructors with Red Bull in the next few races? Because Scout here has not been showing up as your teammate, and you've kind of had just reserves fill in that place.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, honestly, it's just I'm not trying to attack him or whatever, because I mean, I get like you can miss races or whatever, but that's fine. But when you miss half of them, it's like, okay, now I feel like you're just not committed. So really, I mean, if I had to say who would be my teammate, honestly, I don't care, as long as like really they can be consistent, they can get points. So I'm not the one having all the backload on my back trying to get this tier 1 team up for Red Bull. But I think really, if I can get a good teammate for tier 1, we can maybe get back up to 5th, challenge for 5th. But I think we're out of the running for the top 3. But I think 5th is probably be a really good goal, especially for me basically getting all the points for the first 8 rounds. So
yeah, I've got to ask you a question that kind of relates to other leagues. Outback, you were and there was probably another one, NEOR as well. You've been up front competitive on podium every race in that league. You just missed out on the podium with penalties today. The competition in those 3 leagues combined to ARL. Where do you look at that? Because I've been in all 3 leagues with you. Where do you compare the competition? Where do you compare yourself now compared to 2018 and 2017 as well?
I mean, I would definitely, out of all those leagues, I mean, I would have to say it's definitely ARL. I mean, out of those 3, he did have like 1 or 2 fast drivers, including me. But this tier, this league, you got around like 5 or 6. You could almost say 8 drivers like fighting for the front. So really, no, this is definitely a lot better than the previous 3. and competition-wise.
Congratulations on P4. Milo, do you have any questions for John as well to continue?
No, that's it for me as well.
Alright, I missed this guy back in tier 2 yesterday. I'm sure there. Yeah, I missed you from tier 2 yesterday. I forgot you were in the party. That was probably embarrassing, but regardless, yesterday I want to talk to you about today as well. P19 to P4 yesterday in those conditions. You stayed out on the inners yesterday.
I'll tell you.
Late race. Whenever you stayed out, did you think it was gonna pay off? Did you think it was not? What did you think all was gonna go on? Make sure your audio's included.
Well, I thought, like, I was running around, like, below the top 10, low top 10, like 8th, 7th, around there, so I thought, screw it, gamble, and I stayed out on inners, and I'm like, this is actually working, until DRS got enabled, I think, shite.
You and the Mercedes boys, Kagoda and you, both made your guys' first tier 1 starts of the season, your first tier 1 start in general. With today, I know it wasn't the best of luck for you, best of runs, but where do you compare yourself to Kagoda as a teammate in ARL tier 2 and just in general?
Well, Kagoda's a great driver, and I respect him a lot, and I think pretty sure he respects me. So, like, I mean, he's a great driver. He's a bit quicker than me, and I just think us two combined, we can win the Constructors Championship for Tier 2. Like, when it came to Tier 1 today, yeah, he was blinding way faster than me, but today I had connection issues, like, with everyone, so, like, I didn't want to ruin anyone's races, so I just backed off.
Smart decision. In tier 2 points, you're 60 points behind the championship lead. It doesn't look like you're close anywhere to the top 3 at all, but you're close to P4. Do you think you could be the best of the rest for tier 2 this season?
Well, it all depends on how Milo does as well. I mean, if he has a good race, I can capitalize on it, but vice versa, he can also capitalize on my bad races. So, like,
Yes.
I think it should be a fun fight to the end.
Now, tell me, what was the problems with waking up in the first 2 races? Or is it just you didn't set alarms? You just, because you probably missed a chance maybe at that championship fight. You maybe could have been up there at Bahrain. You could have maybe been up there at France. Who knows? Where could you see yourself if you made those 2 races?
If I made those races, I think I could be best of the rest, because Bahrain, one of my best tracks, I'm very quick around there, and I think I could have easily competed for a podium in that race. France, I'm not sure. I've never done a league race around there, but
Oh wow.
yeah, and it was just unfortunate that I missed Bahrain. I was kind of sad about that, but like the reasons was just like I'd have the alarm and I would just sleep through it because I'd be staying up all night because issues. But now I'm waking up at 5 in the mornings because like sleep schedule. And sleeping isn't much of a problem at the moment. We'll see how that progresses over the coming weeks.
Tell me about the drive to the field, though, from those conditions. No one's ever driven up to the podium from the P19 position. People have done it from P20, but you could have been the first person to win the race from that far back on the grid. You could have also been the first person to podium from that position on the grid. How do you see that in general from yesterday's race and into future races as well?
Well, I mean, the weather did play into my hands very nicely. Like, it was kind of like tier 3. Like it wasn't raining, but there was too much spray for the dry tires. But so like the inners worked better for those few laps, and I think my drive from P19 to P4 was one of the greatest drives of my career, and I was very happy with that at a track that I really don't like. Yeah, I was surprised with myself that I managed to do that, and unfortunately I could not hold off Asian in the final chicane of that race.
Well, Mercedes leading the constructors, you guys. The battle with Red Bull, Adam 5 and Riles. Gotta ask, the championship battle between you guys, how do you look at yourself right there? Because you guys are sitting very comfortable in the lead after you guys had bad 2 races from the previous 2, and Red Bull had a great 2. You guys had a bad 2. Now you guys have recovered that and got the lead out of it. How do you look at that and do the next few weeks and in the finale?
Well, the way I look at it is like I'm all for the team at the moment because there's no chance for me winning the Tier 1 championship, or Tier 2. But it's all for the team. Whenever we can get a good result, I will totally take it because after our 2 poor races, we really needed a good result yesterday, and we pulled through with the 1-4, and it's exactly what we needed to get that confidence booster into the coming races. And we'll see what me and Kagota can do for the coming races in Tier 2. I think it'll be very exciting. Yep.
Now, did you know Mercedes, I believe, is the team with how do I want to say it? The most amount of times both cars have been on the podium. But you guys have also got to get a 1-2, so that's still coming. But Milo, I gotta talk about today's race again.
Singapore.
Wow. Yeah, Singapore. Yeah. Wow, Milo. Wow. That amazed us.
Yeah, and we'll see probably the same thing next week in Monza. We'll see some desperation in the drivers being stuck in the DRS train, a little bit like today. But that created some awesome battles, which we cannot complain about at all.
We'll have to all find out. It's all coming quickly. Today's race. Compared to the races last season, compared to the races this season, how do you rate it, Milo?
Better than last season. Well,
It's a
like
boring train to me.
Yeah, like Rapper said, there was less competition, so the increase in competition with, Boca, Jack involved, John involved, everyone just fighting out the front, new faces as well, just, doubled that excitement for me. Like, a good race is when I can actually remember something significant, and that race last season doesn't really hold anything for me.
Right.
That's for me, big man.
Yeah. Now, yeah, 3 cars in that battle. It was really like 5 or 6 today, at least at most. So it really was a game changer for sure. We saw people coming in and out of that battle. Some people get out of DRS but gain their way back in. Italy's next week, Milo. Germany's next week after that. I'm not going to reveal the new weather system just yet, but I want to say, Italy, Germany, if those are dry races, Milo, how do you look at those 2 for all tiers?
Yeah, all tiers will probably be leaving the weekend on a positive note, because from frustration it's very relieving to get some dry races, and especially when you perform well in them, people will be more cheerful going forward. The racing will improve. So yeah, I can really see that happening if all goes to plan.
I mean, before a tier 2 race, if you put it on clear, it will still rain. Just cause.
Yeah, probably that will happen. Monsoon, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, monsoon.
Wait, do people actually believe it was raining when you said it?
Yeah,
Yes, some people did, yeah. Some people did. Until they saw the stream.
That's cool.
They were like, "Oh yeah, you put it on the starting screen." I waited like 2 or 3 minutes to put it on the starting screen, or the screen with the weather on there. And I was just doing it to make people mad. I was like, "Oh yeah, let's just make it look like it's wet. Let's just hold it till like another 2 minutes."
Someone asked if it was there was a restart. Had to make it dry. Can't remember who it was.
Well, bamboozle worked.
Hey, Milo, though, Italy, Germany, tier 2 battle looks very good right now. 16 points between them. It was 9 points, which was better, but Adam Pfaff struggled of a race, put him out of the championship lead and put him down to 3rd. Tier 3, Davis and Chevy Giant split by 1 point, but Hissy and all them 50+ points back, and now the battle in tier 1 is not even a battle. It's 50 points. It's really a battle of when can Boker clinch a championship. That's what the battle is. But regardless, we still have constructors battles as well. Toro Rosso lead by 30 points, I believe, something around that. And Tier 3, Tier 2 as well, Mercedes and Red Bull, 20 or so points. And Tier 1, I believe, is probably going to be about 50 or 40 some points after today, but we'll have to find out. Anyways, tune into Italy next week. I also, once you see the stream ending soon, I want you guys to tune into that, because there is the schedule for what's going to happen next season, what's going to happen all, for the next few races, what all the schedule looks like. So we'll have to show you guys that in a minute. But Milo, what do you look forward to the most into Italy and Germany?
Very much low downforce circuit, so it's whoever can really find the compromise between straight line speed and cornering, as it always is. So
11-11,
yeah.
when you just go to not Monaco, Monza.
Very
Yeah, let's go to
strategical
Monaco
race as
then.
well. Undercut
Yeah,
usually
11-11 at Monza,
pays
1-1
off.
at Monaco.
If
Best
you do an
service.
undercut in a DRS stream, and like it won't work unless you're so much
Yeah,
quicker.
because they'll just be pulling each other along.
Yeah.
So that's if you come out in somebody else's DRS train though,
Right.
because they tend to let you through.
Well, we
Depends
saw
on the
a lot of
speed.
guys battle and go back and forth in today. Can we see the same thing in Italy next week? Well, we start with Tier 3 on Friday next week, Tier 2 on Saturday, Tier 1 on Sunday. We'll have to see you guys then. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed. We'll have to see you guys next week for Italy.